with the Chargers. Still playing for their playoff lives. As far as seedings and things like that,
right.
You owe it to the fan base, to the NFL, to the other teams, that you go out today and you play hard as well. And, try and do your best to get a victory. Brian Schottenheimer's kind of talked about it throughout that, they want to win games. They want to find a way. So today you prepped to go out there and win a football game. That's what you need to try and do. And then let's see what happens the next couple of weeks after that. But today, I think it's all about going out there and trying to get you a victory against a very good football team that might not be one of the ones that looks pretty the way they play, but their results are usually pretty darn good.
Yeah, it's they win a little bit ugly. It's a tough physical football team.
Yeah.
They play hard ball in honor of their head coach, Jim Harbaugh, who is one of the few super old school remaining.
He's my guy.
Kind of coach. Absolutely.
Yeah, he and I like I said, I appreciate the way when you watch this team play. I really, the last couple of weeks, I really do appreciate the way Brian Flores calls defense.
Yeah.
I really do appreciate the way the Chargers play on their end. There's not a lot of thrills going on with the Chargers in the way defensively they're solid. Offensively, they are very physical running the football. Their quarterback he gets hit a ton. He stands there. He makes throws. Greg Roman design runs with a broken hand with the quarterback. I mean,
yeah, it's crazy.
Well, that's just the mentality that the Chargers play with. And, it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. But if you want to be consistent, the Chargers are really a model franchise. You look at what Harbaugh has done the last 2 years there.
Yeah, it's not the most the most.
It's not a beauty pageant at all with them.
No, they're down to win 16-13.
Yeah,
like they got no problem with it.
They are just all they care about is getting back on that bus and getting on that plane and going home with a victory. That's all they care about. They don't care if it's 1 point, 2 points, 100 points. They're into just trying to beat you up and then get the victory at the end.
Absolutely. Well, here on the pregame show today, we're loaded as always. We have Donovan Ezaraku. He is going to be today's player profile. We'll hear from him in just a few minutes. Daniel Jeremiah.
How about that, my old buddy?
Your buddy,
DJ.
One of your draft expert buddies, who is also
former scout.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, former scout. I mean, you guys are similar trajectories with the careers.
Yeah, he probably could have still stayed in scouting. I was told I need to go somewhere else, but Daniel's done a great job. It's really Tim Collins, who executive producer of our broadcast. He asked, he's like, hey, who do you want to? We've talked to Matt Money Smith. Matt's good too. Matt's good as far as the broadcast team.
Play-by-play
guy for them. He's really, really good. But to have Daniel Jeremiah on, I think is going to be a lot of fun for us today.
Yeah, looking forward to that coming up later this hour. And then we're going to have future Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion, Drew Brees.
How about that?
On the program today. He's on the TV call for Fox with Adam Amin and Christina Pink. So that's going to be fantastic. Of course, you have Brad Sham, Christy Scales, Babe Laufenberg, Bobby Belt. We are rocking and rolling here on your Cowboys pregame show, 877-881-1053. It is a Diggs return Sunday.
How about that?
For the Cowboys, which is not something I think most of us anticipated. But
I had it on my bingo card initially. I took it off my bingo card, and then Friday on our show, we broke the news on 105.3 The Fan on the G-Bag Nation that he was going to be active and play and likely start here today. So
how much of this is just simply because of the Deron Bland situation?
You know what? I'm not going to act like it didn't have anything to do with it. But it sounds like to me there legitimately was improvement with the player's attitude, the way he practiced, and the way the front office and the coaching staff saw that he sincerely wanted to play. Mm-hmm. And they saw that, they felt that, and listen, you're in a situation too, Friday you're still in the playoff hunt. Technically a little bit.
0.6%.
So you're thinking like, okay, if we're still in this and then all of a sudden the Commanders beat the Eagles, we're going to need defensive backs to play.
Sure.
So, I think there was out of necessity there was that. I'm sure there'll be somebody that will send me a text message who's probably driving into the game right now. They'll say, "Oh, well, Broadus, no, we were going to do this all along." But yeah, hey, listen, I'm anxious to see how he plays today. I really am.
Me too, for sure. I mean, when you start talking about the entertainment factor and trying to figure out why watching this game is important today, that is definitely an element. Having Diggs back as for the second consecutive year, fourth time in the last 7 seasons, the Dallas Cowboys are not going to the playoffs thanks to what the Eagles were able to do versus the Commanders last night. So that's certainly disappointing. And now it is official. The Super Bowl era Cowboys, 16 NFC championship games in the first 30 years, 0 NFC championship games in the last 30 years, and of course that is the longest streak going right now as it pertains to the NFC. So certainly unfortunate, but now you're going, what are we playing for, man? We're playing for pride. This is a character game. This is a culture game. That's what Shotty's trying to lay out for us right now. We'll see what happens with Quinnen Williams. Looks like it's not only the concussion, but it's also the neck deal. So, to me, that is like, hey, that is a building block, cornerstone kind of guy that you want here for at least the next few years. And I don't know that when you have a concussion and a neck situation on the injury report, he's listed as questionable. So we'll see here before too long what his official status is going to be for today's game. But that would be one of those where I would err on the side of caution more than likely.
Yeah, I think that, and maybe as we get, as we broadcast here, we'll get some notice. And I've reached out to some folks to see where we're at on that one. Sometimes these things are, we need to work them out, or, well, hey, we've determined that with the concussion and the neck, that's something you might not want to mess with today. So we'll see. Hopefully here in the next few minutes, we can get some kind of clarity on that. Yeah,
but otherwise, let's go ahead and try and see if this offense can put a performance together. This is a really, really good Chargers defense.
Yeah.
They have been really flying around. I mean, I was kind of digging into it, and we'll get more into some of the details of it. But since the bye week, since like week 13, the Chargers have really flipped the script on kind of the way they're going about things on both sides of the ball, and their defense is the real deal. I mean, they can get pressure on you. Derwin James is outstanding. They got 3 or 4 guys that can really get after the quarterback, so keeping Dak upright today is going to be paramount, especially after what you saw over the last couple of weeks, Detroit and Minnesota really getting after him.
Yeah, it is. It's a little bit of a different – Minnesota was pretty much very blitz happy with the way that they played, and not much man coverage. Detroit was very much a man coverage type of a team. Then what did they do against Dallas? They played more zone, and so it will be interesting to see what Jesse Minter has in mind. He's traditionally a lot of zone coverage, almost 80% zone coverage. They do a really nice job. I think their defense really runs through Derwin James, and I say that in a respectful way, that when you watch how he plays or how Jesse uses him, it's really impressive. Around the line of scrimmage, playing as the nickel corner. Maybe he's going to blitz. He sacrifices himself so others can have the opportunity maybe to rush the passer or to get on the run stop or get on the fit.
Yeah,
it's a defense that again doesn't have. They're going to want to. They're really big into bringing 4. That's what they really want to do, and they do it a lot. But when they bring the 5th rusher, like 55% of the time they're getting pressure. But they don't do it all. I mean, but when they do bring an extra rusher, it's a problem. Yeah, they nail it, and they've got Henley, the linebacker, has been just outstanding. We watched him in a lot of the breakdowns. I mean, I'm sure Daniel Jeremiah is going to come in here and tell us about him. Khalil Mack, we all know that story. They've got some really, really good players. I just got an update about Quinnen Williams. It really is 50-50 on whether he's going to play today.
Okay, we'll keep you posted on that. Yeah. We're under 3 hours to kick off here at AT&T Stadium. Cowboys and Chargers, Week 16. Let's hear from the rookie, Donovan Ezeraku, and the player profile coming up next right here on The Fan.
Hey, Cowboys Nation! There's no better way to elevate your game day ritual than with the Gillette Labs official Dallas Cowboys licensed razor. Not only is Gillette's Best Shave now decked out in cowboy colors, but with 50% longer lasting blades than Fusion, you'll always be ready for kickoff. This isn't just a shave. It's the best a Cowboys fan can get. Get it while you can at Gillette.com/NFL. Gillette's Best Shave.
Fierro's wide range of mouthwatering and versatile products can be found in your local grocery store's produce or deli section. Grab some today.
All right, we're 2 hours and 42 minutes to kick off here at AT&T Stadium. Great to have you in the official pregame show of America's team. Daniel Jeremiah, draft expert, former scout, and color analyst on the Chargers Radio Network, joining us here in just a few minutes. But right now it's time to tee up today's player profile. The three-time Hall of Famer Chris Arnold with your rookie edge rusher, Donovan Ezeraku.
Donovan Ezeraku, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
You guys got a tough game this midday against the Chargers. How have you personally felt the way your season is going this year?
Yeah, personally, I would say it's been a little up and down, but smooth progression. I would say getting better week by week. Obviously, in certain departments, I don't have the numbers per se that I would like, but I know, for how I am as a person, how my work ethic, I know we're working to be great. So I have no worries. I'm not, stressing or anything like that. I just want to continue to do what I have to do to, help my team win.
So you guys have had a very unusual season, and again, this last 3 games could be any kind of way. Can you talk about what this season has meant to you personally? I mean, you're a rookie. There's been some growth. Some highs, some lows, and you've seen all kinds of things in the NFL.
Yeah, personally, I would say this season has been special. Not all the way, where we wanted to be in terms of, win, losses, whatever the case may be. But, being my rookie year and being surrounded by, great vets and great guys in this locker room, but also in the defensive line room, and that helps with, my growth. That kind of speeds up my growth in a way because, we have a room full of experienced guys, and it's been such a great help for me. And that's why I would say it's very special, and it means a lot. And I'm very grateful for what this past 6-7 months has been.
You've been learning a lot. And speaking of learning, Kenny Clark was telling me that Q-Dub, Quentin Williams, he helps you guys during the game. He's almost like a coach out on the field because, he done seen it all.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's telling you guys what offensive linemen do, their tendencies and things.
Yeah, he's a very smart player for sure. So it's definitely not just him though. It's definitely it's Kenny and himself as well. It's Osa, it's Quentin, it's Jadavion. It's the vets in the room, and they have been such a great help for not just me but for all of us.
Before we get out of here. It's a noon game. What's your routine in the mornings? I mean, you get ready to get to the stadium early. You got to have a breakfast. You skip breakfast. You listen to some music? What do you do?
I typically get up relatively early, go grab something to eat, and I'm on the first bus to the stadium so I can get my body together and situated for sure.
And last but not least, quick scouting report on that offense for the Chargers. Well, you got to stop.
I would say they're they've been dealing with some injuries this past season, of course, but a solid group of guys who they do what they're supposed to do to allow their quarterback to do what he's supposed to do, whether that's giving him enough time or whether that's giving him the alley to scramble on a big time play. So that's something that we just have to be ready for and prepared for. We're not just rushing the offensive line, but we're also rushing the quarterback line. So.
All right, good luck this afternoon, D.
Appreciate it.
There it is, your player profile with the rookie Donovan Ezeraku. And just a friendly reminder that the creators of Buffalo bring you NFL casino games. Kick off with America's team on and off the reels with Cowboys-themed casino games developed by Aristocrat, a proud sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. Do you have a gambling problem? Please contact 1-800-GAMBLER for 21 and over. Daniel Jeremiah joins us here in a few minutes. But, Broadus, what do you think about the rookie season so far for Ezeraku?
Yeah, what's been surprising about him to me is I had him as one of the top 3 pass rushers coming out of the draft because of ability. You watch the bend, the ability to play with his hands, the way to get up the field, to come back underneath, the retrace steps, get down the line. There was always that way of attacking the pocket. And then you watched him in training camp in the preseason. You're saying, well, maybe the learning curve is going to be a little bit deeper, bigger than what you anticipated. I felt like when we're doing June radio, when we're sitting around and we're trying to kind of come up with content, and the great question is, okay, how many sacks is Donovan Ezeraku going to get? I think he's going to get 8. And you're kind of like, because you're thinking about him as a player that way. And what he's done for me is he's played in a way where the run defender, and he was a good run defender at Boston College, but, man, he's playing with a lot of snap and power and hold the point of attack and that kind of thing. So I think the run defense part of it has been an A. I think the pass rush, and we'll say, well, there's pressures, and the eye test doesn't, you don't always see the pressures. The eye test, it's kind of, okay, well, there's a pressure, but where's been the sacks? Where's the winning on the edge? Mm-hmm. And so I would have to say edge, or A as a run defender, probably C as a pass rusher right now.
Yeah, and how different does this look if he's getting to play with Micah Parsons and being
I think that was the plan initially,
the role rusher as opposed to kind of like the guy that
he doesn't have anybody on the other side.
Exactly.
And Clowney for Clowney coming off the couch and playing, Clowney has been fine. Solid player. But there is nobody, and we could talk about, well, I'm sure people are driving around, well, Dan Broadus, what about the inside guys? The inside guys, they haven't yet to really get it going. And you don't know if they really will get it going. Maybe next year they'll get it going. Maybe it'll have to be a different scheme. But, man, I watch games every week where defensive tackles and edges are working together to cause problems. I haven't really seen that here. And we haven't had a group here that's really finished very well. I mean, how many times have we seen quarterbacks kind of slip through and then make a throw, whether it's complete or incomplete, but they just have not finished like they have in the past here.
Yeah, and this was a really great nugget from Tommy Yarish and Next Gen Stats. Since the trade deadline, Quinnen Williams leads all NFL defensive tackles with just over 20% pressure rate.
Yeah.
Osa is 12th at 10%.
Yeah.
But in that same time span, Dallas's edge rushers have combined for under 8% pressure rate. That's the third lowest in the NFL.
The eye test will tell you that's the problem. And then when you start to talk, and we're gonna pivot here in about 2 weeks. We're going to pivot to draft talk, and we're going to talk about what do the team needs? What do you think they have to have?
Edge rushers right at the top.
Throw edge right in there.
Oh, yeah.
Throw edge right in the middle of all the discussions you're talking about. Defensive tackle is probably the only position you're not looking at on the defensive side of the ball. But if you draft a player or sign a player in free agency that is a defensive player that's not a defensive tackle, that guy's probably going to help your football team.
All right, we are 2 hours and 35 minutes to kick off here, Week 16 at AT&T Stadium, Cowboys and Chargers. Let's go behind enemy lines with the color analyst on the Chargers Radio Network, one of Broadus' besties, Daniel Jeremiah, joins us next right here on The Fan.
Bell Nunley has been committed to serving their clients for over 4 decades. This Dallas-based full-service law firm
Choose Barberi Law Firm for a masterful defense. Call 682-LAW-STAR.
Under 2.5 hours to kick off here at AT&T Stadium. Let's go behind enemy lines with one of our favorites, Daniel Jeremiah, color analyst for the Chargers Radio Network, joining us now here in the Brad Sham Radio booth. Daniel, great to see you, man. Thanks so much.
I appreciate you guys having me. This is, without question, my favorite place to go to an NFL game. There's been stadiums built since this thing, and no offense to any of those stadiums, this is still number one, man. You can't beat it.
Top tier.
Oh, I mean, the booth, I could move my family and all my relatives into that booth over there. It's fantastic.
I'll tell you what you got to do. Brad Sham is such a great host for us. Swing over here next door and you'll have sushi spread.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
he's big. Brad
Yeah.
is such an
He does it up.
He does it up. He's right. He does it the absolute right way.
First class, man.
Yeah.
First class.
Well, how about you bringing a good football team into AT&T Stadium this week?
Yeah, it's a Jim Harbaugh team, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you just kind of see it, and people were wondering, the tackles go down. I mean, who can survive when you lose 2 Pro Bowl caliber tackles? 2 of the best in the league, and Alt and Slater, and it took them a while to find their sea legs a little bit, and Herbert's still been hit too much, but they found a way to muddy games up. They're playing really good defense, and they're running the ball. Even if they're not getting as much production out of it, they're staying committed to it. You've got Penning as a 6th offensive lineman out there, more and more each and every week. It's just, you close your eyes and you're like, am I in Palo Alto? About 15, 20 years ago?
Yeah, exactly.
The old Jim Harbaugh Stanford team.
Yeah, where they had to have those big old tackles, and they just move them around all over.
Andrews, Pete, and
exactly.
David DeCastro
years. It's like Winnebago stacked next to each other in a parking lot. But that was a very physical team. But when you talk about that, you talk about the quarterback gets hit too much, and then we're watching the game against the Eagles. And, your quarterback's got a broken hand, and Greg Roman's running design quarterback runs. But is that just tell you about the toughness of the team overall? That the way the quarterback plays?
I think so. People say the team will take on the identity of the head coach. I throw quarterback in there as well. Yeah. And he fits that kind of whole ethos of just ultra tough, ultra competitive. And, again, it hasn't been a pretty watch, the majority of the time. And ironically, I would say this is the best group of skill players that Justin's had, during his entire career. They got some young guys that are going to be really, really good players. Gadsden, this rookie tight end, is really, really good. McConkey, his numbers are way down, but he's gifted. You've got, Keenan still out there. Trey Harris at Ole Miss is starting to make more plays as a rookie.
Yeah.
You look in the backfield, you get Omarion Hampton, who's getting a little more work every week. I think they're kind of building him back up. He's going to be a stud. And with him and Vidal, you got 2 good backs. So they've got really good skill. It's just the offensive line has been a little bit leaky, and they've just kind of figured out, hey, Justin's got to run a little bit. He's got to extend some plays and use his athleticism, and then you're going to rely on this defense, which with Derwin James playing the best he's ever played has been lights out.
Yeah, well, don't worry about your offensive line today because there won't be any pass rush.
Yes.
So,
it's interior. There's been some interior rush.
There's been some interior rush, and the thing with Quentin Williams, and you and I were talking here with Eric, kind of 50-50 on whether he would play.
That's a big deal.
You see that as a problem though for the Chargers if in fact he were to play.
He's going to be a problem for everybody. Yeah. He's when you watch their tape and even when you go through their pressures and their sacks. Yeah. I always keep an eye on their quick pressures. Because if you got a little bit of time, Herbert's pretty good. He's going to find guys. He's going to get the ball out. Their problem has been these immediate losses up front. And this Cowboys pass rush, even when they're getting home, it's been kind of a more of an effort-based rush than just winning right off the snap and greasing the guy on an edge. I haven't really seen a whole lot of that.
Yeah.
Well, it's Daniel Jeremiah with us here on The Fan. But, the defense right now for the Chargers. I mean, it seems like they've tweaked some things, like the post-bye week. What is Jesse Minter doing maybe a little bit differently than what he was doing at the beginning of the year?
Well, I mean, the Jacksonville game was a wake-up call. It was, they had a late bye. That was the last game before the bye. You travel cross-country, play one of these early games, and Jacksonville ripped their face off. And it was like, uh-oh, what's going on here? They ran the ball down their throats. And we were kind of wondering, okay, coming out of the bye, how are they going to adjust? Is it going to be with a bigger body? Are they going to put, 3 bigs in there? Because now they play with kind of 2 bigs and the 2 edge guys. And instead, it's been, nope, you're going to get safeties down there. And Derwin basically plays as a linebacker when he gets down there in the box, and they've rocked Tony Jefferson down there at times. Mickens, who's out, but when he's been healthy, they've rolled him down there. So they're adding to the box count a little bit, and that's how they've slowed the run game down. And, the pass defense has been awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesse Minter's got guys who've got really good eyes. They stay connected. I went through their interception reel. They got 17 picks.
Oh, I watched it the other day, too. I know exactly what you're about to say.
7 of them are on tips.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've never.
They sprint to the football.
We were talking about it. Eric and I would do a show during the week on 105.3 The Fan, and I've said I have not seen a team that puts itself in more positions to make plays, but ball ricochets and they're there every single time. It's one of the it's a skill to have. But you're right about the eyes and the way that they play with the position.
I mean, when you've got Tony Jefferson, on ricochets, toe tapping on the sideline, as a middle field defender, it just is. That's the effort that they've been playing with, and it's always, what your coaches tell you when you're playing Pop Warner football. Hey, if you run to the ball, good things are going to happen. And you can say, well, there's no way I can make a play. The ball's gone. I'm not going to be there any time. But weird things happen and good things happen when you run to the ball.
Man, they caught a break with that Derwin James, that draft. I mean, why did he slide?
I remember being on the call. That was what year was that?
18?
Yeah. I just remember thinking I think he was my 6th or 7th rated player, and
he was 18.
What was he, the 17th pick? Or
so see, we were sitting there in Dallas
at 19.
Yeah,
we were
like, hey guys, this Derwin James, he's sliding down the board now. There's got to be something, and we were kind of talking ourselves into it. Is what we're doing, but
as great as he is, and you see it when you watch him.
Yeah.
To me, what I've enjoyed is being around him at training camp, being on the plane, being in the meal room. His energy doesn't just turn on when he gets on the field. Like he is one of these guys who's just a force multiplier. And I saw it when I was in Baltimore with Ray Lewis. And I saw how that energy is infectious, and it's not just on the field, it's off the field. He raises the level of everybody else, and he's not a jerk. He's not someone who's just, screaming at his guys. He's always just uplifting his guys with a ton of energy, and they respond to him.
So he's the true leader of the defense?
Oh, he's the leader of the team.
Really?
Oh, yeah. No question. He's the absolute leader of the team. Now, Khalil Mack doesn't say a lot, but Khalil Mack there's a lot of guys who have the respect. Herbert's got the respect. Khalil's got the respect. But the voice of the team and the face of the team is Derwin James.
What's up with this defense that likes to rush 4, but when they bring the 5th rusher, they seem to get pressure 55% of the time? If you're looking at those analytics, Why? What's the trick with all the pressure here?
Well, I think they hold their water. They don't show things early. They're patient with it, which is a key part of it. The other thing is, man, they've got kind of a rising star in Tui Pelotu. He has been awesome. And then you've got Mack and Tuli. Those are power guys. And then Owe comes over, has no sacks with the Ravens. Comes over in the trade. He's already got 7 there. So they've got, when they get in 3rd and long, they can put that package out there. You've got 3 legit rushers you got to worry about. And now all of a sudden you want to sneak Deion Henley, or you want to sneak Derwin, who's
Henley has been great.
Henley's
been great. That film coming out of college.
He's a former safety. He can cover. He can run. There were some times, like that when they didn't have Perriman. It hurt him because they play off each other very well. Perriman's a plugger. He is he is downhill. He wants to crack heads, and then now you've got Henley who can run and clean up.
Right.
But when you don't have one, you struggle. You don't have. You don't have Henley. All of a sudden, you're struggling in coverage. You don't have a hammer.
Right.
All of a sudden, now you're struggling against the run. So those guys staying healthy is big.
I think I know the answer, but I want for our listeners your thoughts about it. And you do such a great job on the NFL Network and then your platforms with you and Bucky and all that. But what was your thoughts about with Donovan Ezeraku coming out of Boston College?
I liked him, but he was polarizing. People were like, some coaches loved him, other coaches were not as high on him.
Right.
I just thought he was really, really instinctive. I loved his length. I thought he played with power. And he was a finisher, which is a skill to me. So many times you see guys who win, but they can't finish.
Right.
Now the production hasn't been there at this point in time. But I went out there. I think we visited at training camp.
Sure.
Was excited about what I saw there. So I think some of these offense and defensive linemen, people want to turn in the verdict on them really, really early. And I just think it's such a different game up here. Just give them a little bit of time.
See, that's what we're talking about too with Tyler Guyton also playing at that tackle spot, and injuries have robbed him, but now he's played more left tackle than he has right tackle.
Yeah.
And so now and people are talking about, well, Nate Thomas, we need to move on from Nate Thomas. And I'm with you on trying to give the guys enough time to be able to kind of develop a little bit.
I think you can look at on the line of scrimmage, there are a million examples. I'll tell you one right off the top of my head. You know who's arguably been the best left tackle in the NFL this year is Garrett Bowles. Do you remember him his first couple years?
Yeah, see, that's
holding penalty, getting beat for. I mean, Joey Bosa used to get 3 sacks against him every year when they played against him, and now all of a sudden you look up and he's one of the best left tackles in the NFL.
What's your blind spot when you scout? And my blind spot is the guys like the David Bakhtiaris and the Colton Millers. I can't stand the linear tackle that is tall and is not strong. Yeah, I'm wrong about those guys more than anybody when it comes to that.
That's hard. If I self-evaluate my toughest position that I've had, hopefully it's getting better, but it's been safety.
Really?
Because you can watch college games. You can watch 4 games and not see them do a blessed thing.
Yeah.
And it's such, they're playing quarters in college, so they're just playing, there's no responsibility, not a lot of action. All of a sudden you get in the NFL, and now this guy's, you got to fill the alley, he's got to cover, you got to do all this stuff. So that I've figured out over the years, you got to watch a lot of these safeties to get a good feel for them.
I remember when you talk about your Raven days, Ed Reed.
Oh, yeah.
I remember sitting in a meeting with Jerry Jones, and I was responsible with the dot where he was.
Yeah.
And I put him off the screen. The dot, I was always supposed to point him out, and then I would take him off the screen. But great player. Great player.
Fun stuff.
Well, Daniel, you're the man. Can't thank you enough for the time. It's always a treat, and have fun today.
I appreciate you guys. This is, again, there's no place better and no better people either. Appreciate you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
There he goes behind enemy lines with the Chargers color analyst on the Chargers radio network, Daniel Jeremiah here on your Cowboys pregame show, and we are under 2 hours and 20 minutes to kick off. Want to let you know whether you're a backyard griller, Cowboys tailgater, or a pitmaster pro, Meat Church has everything you need. Visit meatchurch.com, your ultimate destination for the finest rubs, seasonings, and barbecue supplies. Matt Pittman and Meat Church, the official pitmaster of the Dallas Cowboys, and we'll go inside the star with our Cowboys insider Bobby Belt here in just a few minutes. But we'll get Trayvon Diggs back today for this Cowboys defense. The Deron Bland injury is really, really heartbreaking, and maybe that explains why, at least one of the reasons why he's had a bit of a down year this year dealing with that foot issue.
Yeah.
What do we need to know about that, Broadus?
Well, it looks like to me there was possibility of having to go in and repair, as a kind of a follow-up thing. But it looks like to me they're looking at the screw that's in the foot. So they might have to go in and replace that. So, that's just kind of the Cliff Notes version of what they might have to. It's something that, I haven't really talked to anybody. Was it bothering him all year? The level of play, he just didn't play with the awareness or the, there were times where he was in coverage, he didn't turn. We haven't seen the ball skills that we once you saw with him with all the pick sixes and the interceptions, but he clearly was dealing with something with the foot, but it looks like to me, talking to people, it is going to be the screw is the one thing that they're looking at right now.
All right, 877-881-1053. It is your Cowboys pregame show. Let's go inside the star with our Cowboys insider, Bobby Belt, live here at AT&T Stadium. How we doing, Bob?
Wonderful. How are you?
Good, man. How's the teeth situation? I was worried, just like you were kind of.
Turns out it was not a abscess like I thought. It was a bone spur that was literally a piece of bone that was sticking out of my gum line. That apparently they said is a fragment from 12 years ago getting wisdom teeth surgery.
Unbelievable. Okay, is it handled?
Yeah. He literally took it out and he's like, "See, there's your bone." And
that was it.
That was it. But it was caused an infection, so it was an infection of some sort, but it was because of the bone.
All right. Well, it's great to see you. Great to hear from you. Did you go to Chappelle on Friday night?
Nope. Did not go to Chappelle because then I felt sick Friday. So I missed Friday night, and then you might still be able to hear like some of the stuffiness. I have like a.
Oh, I just thought that was kind of normal for your.
No,
day.
Come on. I'm not usually this stuffy.
Oh yeah.
But so no, I've got I had the stuffiness. So I ended up missing it. It was Jacob and Kristen ended up going to Chappelle by themselves, and she did not think Chappelle was the best performer. She thought Donnell Rawlings was funnier, and I was like, "You didn't deserve those tickets."
Unbelievable! that is blasphemy. All right, Bob, here we go. We got Diggs back.
Yep.
Bland out. Mm-hmm. What do we need to know about that whole situation? If Bland doesn't get hurt, is Diggs playing today? You think?
Yeah, I think he is because Schottenheimer, just the way Schotty had talked about him this week, sounded very much like he was responding the right way. We got a chance to talk to him on Friday, and we said, you said he wasn't like checking the boxes that you needed. You need to see him check some boxes. It was like, has he done that this week? Like to this point, obviously you still have another practice and things can change, but to this point, has he done it? And he said yes. And so, I mean, it was very matter of fact, like, yes, he's done what he's supposed to do. And I mean, it was very vague for the last week. He told reporters last week, I don't know why I'm not playing. I wasn't told why. Well, then he tells Jane Slater, apparently, well, it's because I was messing up in cover 2. So it's not like he did know what it was. That probably also didn't make the staff happy that we made it pretty clear and you knew what it was, and that you went out there and represented like you didn't know what it was. So I think overall an attitude change, and it'll be a nice ride off into the sunset, these last 3 games for Trayvon Diggs' Cowboys career. So.
You do feel like that it's done then?
Yes. Yeah. I think it's just...
Do we feel like we've been right about him yet? I'm seriously.
I mean, if you want to look at it broadly, there's probably not a time we've been right about him at all in his career. Like, everybody talked trash about him in his second year when he was, the king of interceptions, and he was actually playing pretty well. And then when he came back, maybe it was a little too much criticism. Then there were other times he was getting too much cover. So probably not throughout his entire career.
I don't feel like I've ever been right about him. I felt like I know initially when he got hurt, I was like, and they were in that run where they had beaten Philadelphia, Kansas City. I'm thinking, you know what? Bring it back. They're in this run. Got to need it. You're going to need this guy. And then all of a sudden, well, he's not practicing hard enough. He's going through the motions. So you're hearing all these things from their side of things, but you're not hearing anything from his side of things.
You know what?
Then you get the concussion. Then it seemed like there was always something. I have yet to be right about him as a person or a player.
You have you've always had the line, and I like it. We've all adopted it about ice cream flavors when it comes to players. But just depends on what kind of flavor of ice cream you like. I'm gonna take a story you told, and I'm gonna kind of co-opt your ice cream line and just say that Trayvon Diggs is an ice cream shop player. That guy you told us about in Jacksonville, who when he got paid, he was just like, all right, thanks, going to go open an ice cream shop.
Ben Coleman.
Ben Coleman. It's
the Stone Cold the creamery place.
Stone Coleman. So I think that for the Cowboys, they felt like they got an ice cream shop player.
Yeah.
That he got paid, and it was like, cool, thanks, going to go do all this other stuff now. And honestly, I think it goes back to his rehab. After the 2013 or 2023, he played the first 2 games. Looked like the best version of the player we've ever seen those first 2 weeks. Then he gets hurt, and I think it was really hard for him doing the rehab stuff and kind of isolated from people. And I think he's still there physically in the building at times, but you're removed from everybody else. And I think the Cowboys felt like when he came back, when he was back into the fold with everybody, he was a different player. He was a different person. He had a different, it appeared, mindset.
Do you think he has a trust problem?
Probably. He always had a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
That's always been a thing. Scouts will tell you about when he was at Alabama that he was out there practicing at one point, and somebody had said, this was probably his freshman or sophomore year, and somebody said, oh, that's Stefon Diggs' brother. Like, somebody made reference to it on the sideline, and he could hear it. And he heard it, and he turned around, and he took his helmet off, and he was like, I'm Trayvon Diggs. I'm not Stefon Diggs' brother. And then he put his helmet back on. He's always had kind of like a chip on his shoulder about, like, being his own man and, like, being respected a certain way and talked about a certain way. And so he definitely has that. I think, well, like, when I say his rehab, he came back different, I don't think that literally is not even about the rehab itself. It's about the mindset that returned, where it's like, man, you felt you came home a little different. Like, you got somebody who goes off to college and they come back from college and you're like, oh, this isn't the person that I knew once before, or whatever those kind of stories that you hear. It's with Diggs, I think it's similar. He came back in a way. It was different. It was not the lack of confidence, but he came back similar to the way Michael Gallup did. Where Michael Gallup came back after his knee rehab, people were like, he's not the same guy.
Yeah.
Like, it's and it, like I said, very different ways. For Gallup, it was almost like this dude's lost all his confidence. He seems uncertain about himself. Like, this wasn't the guy. Diggs came back not really lacking confidence. Diggs just came back a little more, I don't care about this as much as I did at one point.
Should we have known when he said, listen, the $500,000 of not making that part of my contract, when we saw that, should that have been the sign to us that where he really was?
Oh, I think it was
mentally, emotionally, with all that.
I think it showed up last year during the season, where you could see some of the, like, confrontations he had with reporters outside of the locker room, or he got really, really defensive at one point. Somebody just asked him about, I think it was, I can't remember who they were playing last year, but they asked him about some receiver. Oh, well, what kind of challenges does he present? He's like, he's good. And then when the cameras went down, he went over and he's like, don't ever ask me about how. Ask me how I challenged them. Don't ever ask me how they challenged me. I mean, he got really defensive about some weird stuff last year with the media, and so I think he just came back with a little bit of a different mindset. Came back feeling like he was kind of being attacked a little bit, and didn't like that. He was oftentimes blamed for things that weren't his responsibility.
Sure.
Or that, that confrontation he had with Mike Leslie at WFAA was because Mike Leslie had basically assigned something to him that was not. He was doing what he was supposed to on the play, and people were acting like he had just blown it up, and he just snapped a little bit, and so. I think mindset-wise,
I had that happen to me with Jason Witten.
It happens.
Yeah.
It'll happen.
They get mad at you. They do. I don't blame him. If I'm wrong, correct me.
Yeah.
Or teach me one or the other.
Yeah, they'll teach you.
Yeah.
They'll
teach you to shut the F up.
They will not spare the rod.
Yeah.
They'll come over. They'll tell you about it. So I think he came back. They felt like, all right. This isn't the guy we proposed to.
Yeah.
When we made a proposal and saw the rest of our lives with this guy, he's different now. A long-distance relationship changed things for us.
Is it him or the front office to blame for this then?
I think, obviously, you have to preface it by saying you hear more from one side than the other. Diggs is not one that
I feel bad that I don't always hear his side. I think Jane did a good job of trying to get his side out there the other day. But I feel like, to me, this is
what happens when you fire an agent. You don't have one, and everything, and you don't want to talk. Like, nobody's out there to really represent your side. But even still, no, I think that you obviously hear more from Diggs' opposite than Diggs' side.
Yeah.
But I think given what we could hear, and even if you kind of sift through what is probably that may be sour grapes or whatever else, I think it's still pretty clear. The majority of this has come down to Diggs.
Yeah.
Diggs has not wanted to fall in line with a lot of what they're doing, and they've gotten buy-in from just about everybody else on the team. Diggs has been a resistance point, and that's been tough for them.
Cowboys insider Bobby Belt with us here on The Fan. Matt Eberflus, defensive coordinator, goes into the booth for today's game.
It's my favorite change.
Yeah.
It's my favorite change every year is when the job is on the line.
Is that to say, get the hell off the field? I don't want to see you anymore?
I always love it because it's whenever things have really gone south, that's when you start doing that. I've heard they'll talk about marathon runners. And they're like, when a marathon runner starts messing with a shoe, I think I need to change my shoes. They're like, oh gosh, you're cooked.
You're
cooked if you're like,
trust me,
it's the footwear.
I've been there.
Is the booth to sideline or sideline to booth is the equivalent of something's wrong with my shoes. Where it's like, no, come on, dude. So Mike Nolan was the opposite. Mike Nolan was up here, and they're like, we're moving him down to the field, getting him really in it, let him feel the game a little more. It's going to be better. This is now, I got to get him up to the booth. I think it's just a nice, quiet 3 games. You don't have to be on the sideline. You can just kind of be removed from everything. And similarly to Diggs, right off into the sunset.
Do you feel like the die has been cast then?
Yes. Yeah. I think you heard Jerry Jones last week. That sounded like.
Was the Minnesota game the tipping point?
I think the last 2 weeks built up, but especially Minnesota.
With their quarterback that really hasn't done.
Jerry said it during the week with us, where he goes, it seems like quarterbacks are always having their best game against us, and I think that's telling. And then you go, okay, well, something wrong with the personnel? Nope, personnel fits.
Yeah.
Personnel fit. Okay, well, he even said it post-game last week. He was talking about Flores, and he goes, yeah, Flores, they like to show a lot of different stuff, and then he likes to get out of it. And he goes, we kind of do things a different way. There's one out. And it's like, okay, he was very pointed. If it's just a motivation tactic, that's uncomfortable motivation. I wouldn't love feeling that, because every answer he gave this week, it felt like.
Okay.
Every single one circled back to Matt Eberflus hasn't done enough.
Okay,
right?
since you feel that way, I know we have maybe a couple minutes here.
Yeah.
Where do you feel like it went completely wrong? If you could point out one thing, where do you feel like it went wrong?
I think that a big part of this is obviously that to me is just in general a scheme that I think you walked away from 6 years ago, 5-6 years ago, where you looked at and said that you didn't want to do the Rod Marinelli thing anymore.
Right.
You didn't want to operate things that way. It's similar in that sense.
Yeah.
Clearly, he's got issues communicating with players.
Okay.
This is 2 stops in a row where that's been a problem.
Should he, if he would have had the year off thing, would he have been coming back next year would have been better for him?
I think jumping right back into it
hurt him.
I think that's a different person than was here coaching in the building 7 years ago. It's somebody who's been a little damaged by things, is a little more. I think he's felt, to be completely honest, and not to put the words in his mouth or ascribe things to him. I think he's felt terrified sitting up there talking to the media every Thursday. And I think that he's had issues communicating with players. I think players feel like he hasn't connected with them the way Schottenheimer has established throughout the rest of the building that they've gotten. I think that, for it to be, it's been said a lot this week, or in the last couple weeks, and John Machota said it to me last week, but he was like, one player, just name one player who's a better player on defense this year with him. Yeah. You can't find it. And so I think that's somebody who, the same sort of rehab that Dan Quinn went through, Mike McCarthy went through, some of these other coaches have got a year off to study different things, and also Dan Quinn, ESPN wrote the story about how made him contact all the other former coaches he had worked with him and did you ever feel like I wronged you? Did you ever feel like I did anything and just really evaluate your people issues? I think that's going to be a big thing for him, but it's tough for him and something that I think is tough for the Joneses because they really like him. But I think you are looking at 4 coordinators in 4 years. So,
all right, you're the man. Thanks, Bob.
Love you all.
Great stuff, Bob.
Love you more. Cowboys insider Bobby Bell right here on your Cowboys pregame show live from AT&T Stadium. Just over 2 hours to kick off Week 16 with the Chargers in town. Let's welcome in the voice of the Cowboys, Brad Sham, next right here on The Fan.
Cowboys fans, here's the game plan. Touchdown Tuesday at Take 5 Oil Change. Just wear your Cowboys gear and save 25% on your oil change.
Tyson Cowboys Star Nuggets, available now. And by DallasCowboys.com. Keep track of the boys with daily podcasts and up-to-the-minute blogging at DallasCowboys.com and on the official Dallas Cowboys app.
Under 2 hours to kick off here at AT&T Stadium. Welcome to Week 16 with the Chargers in town. We're live in the Brad Sham radio booth, so we might as well have a football conversation with the voice of the Cowboys, Brad Sham himself. How are you doing?
Hi, good. You know, usually when they start plugging those, like the Tyson Star Nuggets, usually by the time that runs, there are some up here for Eric to enjoy. Are there not?
Not yet.
Usually, but I mean,
usually.
Generally the case. So we will write them a little pass for a noon game.
I would like if somehow, some way that we could show up with these noon games would be like a brunch outside would be great.
I would be thrilled with. I wonder if anyone's listening. I would be thrilled with a nice kind of a breakfast sandwich.
There you go.
A little a little egg, maybe some Canadian bacon, so there's protein but not overly greasy.
Sausage would be a little much.
Sausage might be a little much. Even bacon, turkey bacon, or would be okay for me. That's just for me.
Could I get you to say it? Eric plays it as a drop as part of one of our lead-ins.
I'm now worried officially.
Can you please say the word brisket sando?
Brisket sando.
That's my favorite thing.
We had that conversation earlier in the season, and so we loved saying brisket sando so much.
Did I say that earlier?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, if I said it earlier, then what the hell?
Yeah, Eric has an opening to one of our segments where Brad Sham goes, the brisket sando is hard to beat.
Well, it's true. It's true.
It is true.
It's tough to beat a good brisket sando, depending especially on the kind of bread they use.
Exactly. The vessel is important. Brad,
the vessel is important.
The vessel is
important.
He's a vessel guy.
I'm a big vessel guy. Those Chicago beef sandwiches, they have to have the right vessel to be able to be good.
Correct.
Because you're dipping them. Okay, Brad.
Okay, Brian.
Okay, boys.
We're in a situation right now where now the playoffs are out.
Correct.
I think you're going to play your ass off today to try and win this game, though. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to the National Football League. You owe it to the Chargers, that kind of thing.
All of the above.
All the above.
Last home game.
Yeah, your head coach wants to win.
Right.
He wants to win.
Right.
Brad Sham wants to win today, too, right?
Yep.
Is Brad Sham interested in that going forward now?
I'm interested in. I am open to compromise. I am very interested in winning.
Very diplomatic of you.
You can be diplomatic and truthful all at the same time.
Possible. Maybe with some of our diplomats, that's not possible.
It's not often practiced, but it's possible.
Okay.
So I am always interested in winning.
Yeah.
I am especially interested in beating two division teams in their homes.
Right.
I'm especially interested in that.
Right.
I think Schottenheimer said on the show today, and I can't remember who I was asking him about, but his point was that if you're playing the quarterback, you're playing everybody.
Right.
And I understand that, and I agree with it. And at the same time, I do think under these circumstances, and you're 100% right, today's different because, first of all, you didn't know till last night.
Exactly.
Theoretically, you wouldn't have even known if the game had been today.
You got to go try and get this one.
And they didn't have time to construct the game day roster differently through the week. You approached it as though you're playing for the playoffs.
Exactly.
And your question's 100% valid because that's not the case.
Right.
For the next two games. So there are some players about whom I would like to know, and I've asked him kind of in private, is there any part of you that wants to know more about fill in the blank?
Right.
And the answer is sure, but we're always this is their answer.
Right.
Schottenheimer's answer, and I understand and I endorse it. Sure, we're always going to try to win. Yeah. Now, if I don't know I don't know specific little details, but it's becoming clear to me that Jaden Blue has not done everything either on or off the field that shows them yet that he is willing to buy completely into being a professional. And that was not a surprise to them because he went in the 5th round. And he's probably got better than 5th-round talent.
I would say
Does he
so.
not?
I would say so.
So there's a reason he went in the 5th round. They have by no means written him off. And you can have a big jump, as you know, from one year to the next. Let's see how much he grows up. But for those people who are wondering, why haven't we seen Blue? What do we have to lose to see Blue?
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to get too carried away with this culture stuff, but the fact that he approaches things like comportment, I'm watching you in the meeting. I'm not just seeing if you carried out your assignments well in practice. I'm watching you in the meeting. Were you 5 minutes late to a walkthrough? I'm watching you in the meeting, even if I'm not leading the meeting. And if you don't look to me like you're paying attention in that meeting, I've got an issue. And I'm not saying that's true of Blue. I do think that when they talk about things through the week, not just on the practice field, I think those kinds of things, it doesn't mean they're out committing crimes. It means this is our standard, boys. This is what you are expected to do if you want to be part of this group. And if you can't do that, then we don't need you. I'm sorry. So I think that Blue still falls into that category. I do think they'd love to see Maffa.
Yes.
But his physical conditioning.
Yes.
Is one that they're going to have to keep an eye on and decide. And it may be that he's not ready for Thursday, but he is ready for the last game.
Sure.
I asked him about Butler when they activated Diggs. He said, we talked about Butler, and interestingly, Butler would be the first to tell people he trusts that even he knows he's not quite as physically advanced in coming back from that knee injury as he sometimes thinks he is and would like to be. And that's their opinion, too.
Sure.
They like Butler. Me, I'd love to see Butler. I'd love to see Maffa. I definitely want to see Perrion Winfrey. And he said, and we'll find out about Quinnen Williams here in half an hour.
50-50, what I kind of heard on that one.
And he said if Williams is down, then Winfrey will be up.
Right.
And so my point, if I had a chance to sit down and give him the benefit of all of my years of coaching experience, is that I would like to say, you know what, 2 games, you're out of the playoffs. Find a way.
Sure.
Sit somebody else down.
Sure.
And doesn't cost me anything. Sit Fowler down.
Sure.
And I know it's an imbalance, but one of the things when I first asked him about Winfrey, I'm talking about like it's Oprah Winfrey, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
When I first asked him about Winfrey, he said, one of the things we like about him is that he has flexibility. He can move outside.
Right.
Especially if they're playing in their 5-man front.
Right.
You know what? Let me see it. So there are some guys, the answer to your question is yes. Then I would flip it on you and say, besides 2 or 3 guys that I've named, who else do you have in mind that you would like to see play who's not playing?
Well, I think I need to see something about Mingo, and I think they're going that route, is what they're doing.
You think you need to see that?
I'd like to, because to me, remember how...
Here's what I wish right now. I wish the world could see Eric Chiafalo's face.
Yeah, the thing about
big bingo guy over here.
I'm just saying it in a way that we didn't really know about Flanoy going in. Right? How, do you feel like that Flanoy starting out?
Fair comparison. I would say the difference is,
I know what Tolbert is.
Yes, but Flanoy came from tiny college, Illinois, right?
I think Tiny College, Missouri.
Whatever.
But I know.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Mingo had been on another team, for a bit, and then they've had him around.
Okay.
So I think they know more about, not that they know everything, I think they know more about Mingo than they knew about Flanoy last year at the beginning of training camp.
Yep.
And I would say it's fair to say they knew more than they knew about Flanoy this year, because if they'd known about Flanoy, they wouldn't have cut him.
Okay, how about this one then for you? How come I know more about Nate Thomas than I do Guyton?
Because Guyton hasn't been healthy enough to play.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, but I'm kind of like, I'd love to see Guyton play some more. If healthy.
No, right.
If healthy.
Well, if healthy,
but I'm not willing to give up on Nate Thomas. I think there's people out there that are going to get or want to give up on Nate Thomas.
Oh, no, it's too early.
And I'm not going to give up
on
him.
No. The guy, he came from what, Louisiana?
Yeah, Louisiana College.
And he was a
This
guard.
is his rookie year.
Yeah, because he was on I. People don't always understand, and you know this.
Right.
If you're on IR, you are not practicing.
You're not doing anything other than working out on your own.
You can go in the meetings,
right?
But you can't practice.
Right.
That was the significance of starting the window on Maffa and Butler and
Turner
and Peyton Turner, because this is why it's bad for teams to opt out of their bowl games.
Yeah.
You get 2 free weeks of practice.
Sure.
You get to look at young players and see it. Yeah. So the thing with activating those guys' windows is that you can practice them now. So Nate Thomas couldn't practice all last year. So when you say this is rookie year, you're not even exaggerating a little bit. And they changed his position. So Nate Thomas, I want to see all of Nate Thomas I can. Has he been as good the last 2 weeks as we saw earlier?
Mm-hmm.
Nope. But that's part of the growth of a young player. Yes, I want to see all of Nate Thomas I can see.
There's a couple of ways I want to take him. One of them might be uncomfortable. I don't know. The thing about...
Notice that doesn't slow him down any.
No, not at all, because I know you'll answer the question. When they move a coach from the field to the press box, what are they telling you?
Well, clearly what they're saying is, hey, what we're doing is not working.
Yeah.
Now, Bobby, I heard Bobby, he made some big conclusions.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Bobby is making those conclusions based on public statements that Jerry and other people have made and he's connecting the dots, or if he's spoken to someone privately and they've told him that, which if that's the case, is a whole different deal. I would caution everyone to be careful about being led anywhere by Jerry's public statements. Mm-hmm. Because Jerry, by his own admission, he's happy to admit to it, he loves to stir the pot. The more he says stuff that makes people squirm and scratch their head, the more they're talking about his team.
Right.
That's what he wants them to do. So that doesn't mean that Bobby's incorrectly correcting the dots. Mm-hmm. And I think... But what your question is, what does it tell you when they move the guy?
Yeah, what does it tell you? I like you say.
And I think it clearly says, hey, whatever we're doing isn't working. Now, we can't change all the players.
Right.
And we're certainly not going to. Now, Aaron Glenn did it, but we're not going to be firing people, a month into left in the season.
Right.
But here's what. Let's try this. The question I would ask, and I'd ask Eberflus if I thought he'd answer it, which he will not publicly, is, okay, I fully get that you, because of where we sit, that you can see the field better than you can on the sideline.
No question.
Does that make you more open to changing what you're doing, the fact that you can see it better? The feeling I get, I haven't gotten anyone to say, yes, you're absolutely right, but the feeling I get is that Matt has, and I like Matt, that he has believed so much in his system that he has been trying to fit his players into the system. And when you combine that with sometimes not good players, that's not a recipe for success. That kind of thinking is what got us Taco Charlton and got T.J. Watt a Hall of Fame career in Pittsburgh.
Sure.
It doesn't fit in the... So, I think Jerry's been very open about saying, I like continuity, which would lead you to think, well, he doesn't want to change coordinators. Mm-hmm. And he's clearly been open about saying, boy, I don't like what I'm seeing.
Sure.
So let's see how the next 3 games play out.
Fair.
Brad, you're the man. Thanks for the time.
Thank you, fellas.
Yes, sir. Enjoy the game.
Where are your
be listening. I don't know. We're waiting for our snacks. We're waiting for our snacks. But on deck here, as we are now 1 hour and 44 minutes to kickoff, let's welcome in Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP on the call for Fox today. Drew Brees, live from AT&T Stadium, joins us next right here on The Fan.
Football season is here, but it's still hot, which means pests like ants, roaches, and mosquitoes are out in force. Luckily, you can trust the pros at Arrow Exterminators to keep your home and business pest-free. Arrow Exterminators is trusted to keep a pest-free zone at the Cowboys.
You'll be grilling and smoking like a champ in no time. Visit MeChurch.com, your ultimate destination for the freshest rubs and seasonings and barbecue supplies.
He's going to score! Pierre Thomas puts the Saints in the end zone, and Brees spreading that ball all over the field. 8 different receivers. He is in a groove right now. Here's the throw to Shockey, and it's a touchdown. The miracle in Miami has happened. The Saints have won the Super Bowl.
I love it. You won the Super Bowl. You won a Super Bowl. So did you. It's unbelievable, huh? Take in the moment, right?
Looking out at the fans and just seeing the tears in everybody's eyes, you recognize immediately how much that meant to so many people. And I'm so happy we were able to give that to them.
Former Chargers and Saints quarterback, Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, and soon-to-be Pro Football Hall of Famer. And, of course, on the call today for Fox, Cowboys and Chargers, Drew Brees joins us now here on your Cowboys pregame show. Drew, thank you so much for the time, man. This is an absolute honor. How you doing?
Eric, Bryan, doing great, man. How you guys doing?
Doing fantastic. How much fun are you having doing these games, Drew?
It's a lot of fun. I love it. It's the next best thing to actually playing. Although Phillip Rivers kind of made us all the guys in their 40s think long and hard about if we could come back and do it. But no, seriously, it's great. I love being close to the game, part of the game. Each and every week having the chance to watch guys do it at the highest level, but also I think kind of get an inside look into every organization. Through the production meetings, you have a chance to talk to head coaches and coordinators and quarterbacks and some of the great players in this league that, I think really define the league in a lot of ways. And so really I think what the broadcast is all about is, you're trying to provide insight and entertainment to fans, but I think also it's an opportunity to really highlight, just some of the great contributions that a lot of these guys are making to the game.
Drew, you had the opportunity here now to in doing this game, 2 quarterbacks that are really playing at a very, very high level. When you're sitting down studying for the games, is there anything that jumped out about what you saw with Dak Prescott or anything with Herbert as well?
Yeah, I mean both. Let's start with Dak. I think this is one of his best seasons thus far. I think a lot of that is his relationship with Bryan Schottenheimer. Obviously Schotty's been a part of the program now for 3 years, took over as head coach this year. I think he's really built an unbelievable offense that certainly suits Dak's strengths. I see great poise, great command of the offense. Dak can make every throw. I mean, you just feel like a great leadership, with him. And I look, the statistics, validate that. He's got, one of the best wide receiver tandems to throw to. I think the George Pickens pickup, early in the year with the trade was great, not only for him and for Dak, but also for CeeDee Lamb and just how dynamic this offense was able to become with those 2 guys. On the other side with Herbert, this Charger team is kind of old school football. They're run, get to 3rd and short, maybe mix in a play action every now and then, but just grind the clock and, play solid defense, win the time of possession, and, just try to beat you on the last possession of the game or run the clock out. It's kind of that style of football. I think Herbert's one of those guys. I'm staring at him right now here on the field. The dude's 6'6", like 240. Yeah. I mean, he's like big, physical, strong, can make every throw. I think what's most impressed me about him is they've had a lot of offensive line troubles this year. They lost both tackles, Rashawn Slater, prior to the season, and then Joe Alt, just played a few games. And so, he's been under a lot of duress this year. And, man, he's battled it out. It always feels like he's dealing with injuries. Obviously, he's got that broken left hand from a couple weeks ago that he's still, playing through. But, man, he's not afraid to scramble. When he does scramble, he scrambles between the pocket or between the tackles, so he takes a lot of hits. He's the most sacked and most hit quarterback in the NFL, and yet this team's 10-4. I think which just speaks to their toughness and their grit.
Yeah, what is it about you quarterbacks, Drew, with hand injuries? You guys kind of show up and just, you're like, hey, I just want to, I'll keep playing. Just bandage that thing up, wrap it up, and let's go to work. What is it about you and those quarterbacks that want to go through all this?
Well, it's not quite like O-lineman hands. Like if you shake any O-lineman's hands who's played any length of time in the league, and they got fingers that are pointing all different directions.
Right.
But no, I mean, look, I tore my UCL in my right thumb back in 2019 when I hit it on Aaron Donald's helmet. I'm actually amazed that there's not more of those injuries with quarterbacks in the league, because you just think about the stuff that's happening in and around you in the pocket, and you're trying to get the ball out of your hands, and you're constantly in a vulnerable position, both with your body and with your arm. But, I mean, look, I think all of us, I always felt a great sense of debt to my teammates. I never wanted to miss a snap. Like, I wanted to be available for them, especially the guys up front. Like the old linemen, those guys, man, they're the grinders. They're the lunch pail guys, like the blue collar, go to work, don't want any attention, don't want any fanfare, just going to gut it out. And that type of stuff inspired me as a quarterback. I never wanted to let those guys down.
Drew, when we mentioned about the study and extensively when you were a quarterback, there was no question you were one of the best prepared. When you do watch the Cowboys tape and you see what teams are doing like last couple of weeks to George Pickens, is it surprising? Is it something that they should have done all along? Or what can you take away from all that?
Well, look, I'd say this, especially with two great receivers in George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, is like if you play against good defenses, they're taught to not let the best players on the other team beat them. Right. So especially in the early going, you're going to get a lot of coverage. You're going to get a lot of, one guy in front of you, one guy over the top, or bracket, or they're just going to leverage you in a way where they're going to try to truly take you away. And they're going to try to make you get impatient and get frustrated. And I think, honestly, that's a key for the Cowboys today, is they're going to have to play their most patient game of the season. Just based on the way that this Charger defense is designed, and the way that I've seen them play other teams that have dynamic receivers like the Cowboys. They try to take them away, and they're going to say, beat us with the other guys. So the Cowboys are going to have to run the ball well. I see this being a big game for Jake Ferguson inside. He's probably going to get the Derwin James matchup, who's a great player on third down, but he's going to have to find ways to win. He's going to get the single. The other guys, Flournoy, Turpin, those guys are going to have to make some plays today because they're going to have the matchups. And so if I'm Dak, I'm probably going to walk to the sideline after the first series, and I'm going to look at CD, and I'm going to look at George Pickens. I'm going to say, hey, fellas, hang with me. Be patient. You may not get a lot in the early going, but when we start making them pay with this other stuff, your opportunities will come. Hang with me, man. Play your butt off. Like, be a decoy, you know, so we can move the ball, score points, and I promise you this thing's going to open up for you. I had plenty of those conversations with Michael Thomas and Jimmy Graham and other guys over the years, where it's like, hey, they're going to try to frustrate us. Don't let them, right? This is how we're going to have to win this game.
It's the legendary Drew Brees with us here on The Fan. Drew, you're talking about the size of Justin Herbert out there. I'm curious, if you could have the magic genie in your playing days, would you have want the height of Herbert or the speed of like a Jaden Daniels kind of quarterback?
Forget the height. I don't need the height. I'll take the speed. I'll take the speed for sure. It's funny. I would ask fast guys. I'm like, hey, what's it like? What's it like to run, 22 miles an hour? Like, what's that feel like? Is it like when I'm like driving fast in my car and the trees are just kind of whipping by? Is that what it's like? It must feel kind of good. You get to the edge a lot faster. I think my longest career run was 22 yards. I get made fun of that all the time. I had a 45-yarder, but it got called back for holding, which I think was bogus. But I was like, I could have broken some 50, 60 yarders if I had some speed. But no, the height thing, I like being a shorter, more compact quarterback. Because at the end of the day, you don't throw over people. You throw in lanes. You create those lanes for yourself. And I feel like it's like most thing. If you take away somebody's sight or vision, then all the other senses are heightened. Right? Just their sense of feeling and space and awareness of what's around them. And so it's kind of what I felt like as a shorter quarterback. There were plenty of times I threw the ball and I couldn't see my receiver, but I could feel the defenders. I knew where guys were. I knew where I needed to lay the ball into. Accuracy is simply trust and anticipation. So you trust the guy you're throwing to. You trust the timing of the route. You trust what you're seeing with the coverage. You lay the ball in there, good things happen.
Drew, I wanted to ask you this question, man, and I appreciate you being on with us today because, to me, you've got a really good opinion about these things. I was an NFL scout for 13 seasons. I feel like that there were times I misevaluated quarterbacks when I saw them. And now scouts are kind of coming out and saying, oh, no, quarterbacks need to stay in. They need to stay another year and all that. I just don't think we evaluate them very well, but I don't think they're taught very well either. Is that why some of the things, your opinion on why some of the quarterback play, why have we not given Darnold and guys like that more of an opportunity?
Well, the first thing I'd say is this. I think there's a ton of arm talent out there, but there's not necessarily a lot of guys that know, especially in the early going, how to play quarterback.
Sure.
So when you hear that, it's like, okay, well, why is that? Honestly, I think that every guy coming in the league needs 50 high-level starts before they're going to be really ready. Like ready and understanding how to play the quarterback position. And so, look, sometimes that can happen in college. Like Brock Purdy started 50-plus games at Iowa State. Every time he stepped on the field, they were outmatched, right? He was a smaller guy, chip on his shoulder, had to play with toughness and persistence and, just outplay probably more talented guys on the other side of the ball, right? Bo Nix started 61 games in college, right? A couple at Auburn, a couple at Oregon, right? So he came in, I feel like, a bit more prepared. Jaden Daniels, a ton of college experience, right? Like, you look at the guys that are having success, there was a lot of college experience and then a year or two in the NFL, and now if you add up all those starts, those were all high-level competitive starts. I think the guys that have struggled are the ones that, man, they had a ton of talent, a ton of upside, but they didn't have the experience yet. And they stepped into a situation where, man, the team was struggling as well, and then, they're just under the microscope so much, and there's this feeling of, hey, you got to win now. So kind of this unnecessary pressure and maybe even expectation. And so, yeah, you look at the Baker Mayfields and the Sam Darnolds, man, great players, right? But it took them like their second, third team before that was discovered, just because they needed the experience, they needed the opportunity, and some of it's just the environment, as we know, like not every organization's the same, and there's a lot of these quarterbacks that are getting drafted really high, they're going to teams that are drafting high for a reason. It's because they got a lot of other holes, and so you got to kind of gradually build the team around them. But yeah, I do think that it does take a while to develop a quarterback, and it's more so like, how do you play the position? You got to understand what wins and loses in this league. More importantly than anything, like if I'm evaluating a quarterback coming out, yeah, I'm going to watch the film. Yes, I'm going to evaluate the traits, but I'm going to go talk to his teammates. I'm going to be like, hey, what do you think about this guy?
Sure.
Like, do you love this guy? Because the number one trait for a quarterback is, does he endear himself to his teammates? Like, do his teammates love him? Will they run through a freaking wall for him? Like, at the end of the day, you have to have that. If you don't, I would question who your quarterback is.
Well, Drew, can't thank you enough for the time, man. This is a real treat, total honor. We appreciate it very much, and enjoy the game today.
Thanks, guys.
There he goes, the legendary Drew Brees with us here on your Cowboys pregame show. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was great. He did a great job.
Texas guy, right? Drew Brees?
Yes.
Yeah, Texas high school legend in Purdue, and then on to so welcome home, Drew Brees.
No question about it. All right, Reliant is proud to power the homes of the Dallas Cowboys and the homes of Cowboys fans across Texas. Reliant, the official energy provider of the Dallas Cowboys. Also, United Healthcare is the proud official healthcare partner of the Dallas Cowboys, bringing you coverage you can count on to Cowboys territory. Learn more at uhc.com. How about that? What do you think there? He's like, I don't even need the 6'6" frame. Just give me the wheels and let me go be a threat.
Yeah, he has been one of those guys that when you watch him play, it's funny, Tim Collins was kind of imitating him, like tilting back and looking, you can see he was trying to look over the rush, but he's right. His ability to move and to slide and to buy himself a little time, protect the ball in the pocket, throw the ball in those lanes, that's what's been a real key for him. For I think over 80,000 yards throwing the football. He's an amazing all-timer with that regard.
Yeah, he'll get the gold jacket here in the coming months. We all imagine, as long as the Pro Football Hall of Fame knows what they're doing, and they don't always.
Yep.
But I think Drew is surefire.
I think there's enough voters that have seen Drew Brees play that he'll get right into the Hall of Fame.
Well deserved. All right, so we have the Chargers in town. We are now under 90 minutes to kick off. We await the inactives, and Christy Scales will give that to us here in just a few minutes. But Broadus, as you look at this game here, and the Cowboys, of course, going full tilt and trying to win this thing.
Yeah.
Brad mentioned it off the air, and I think he's 100% right. You win this game, this is probably the best team you've beaten all year if you can find a way to beat these Chargers.
This is one of those, we kind of felt like going in with Philadelphia, Kansas City, quality wins there. Kansas City is kind of a team that looks a little bit of a shell of itself right now, but at the time, what a great, but now you really look at what the Chargers bring in here, a team that's 10-4, how they play on defense, their toughness. Yeah, if you go toe-to-toe with a team that plays old-school football that's going to try and physically beat you up, and if you don't match their intensity and ability and all that today, you're gonna look bad. And I don't think the Cowboys want to look bad today. I don't think they ever do. But this is a matchup of, you're going, like I say, you're going toe-to-toe with one of the bullies in the National Football League when it comes to this Chargers team. And if you can find a way to get it done against them, I think that's a feather in your hat.
Is there any aspect of this game where you feel like the Cowboys have an advantage? Like, is there any aspect of this game?
I feel like, this is just me, I feel like Dallas has the better quarterback. I do.
Okay.
I do. I feel like Dallas has the better quarterback. I think Dallas, on a skill level, when it comes to the receivers, I think Dallas has an advantage, even though I like, Keenan Allen, McConkey, and I think
Quentin Johnson, TCU's own, playing well.
I think Dallas has an advantage there, and I'm going to put Flournoy in there as well. I think Dallas is 3 against the Chargers 3. I do feel like, though, we'll see what happens with the offensive lines. I think Dallas 5 are probably better right now than a compromised. But how many weeks, Eric, have I come in here and we've talked about compromised offensive line and Dallas doing nothing about it? This is an opportunity today. If you don't get pass rush against this crew, I don't know who you're going to get pass rush against. But I feel like we'll see. If Dallas comes in here and they don't take care of business up front on both sides of the ball, this could be really a long day.
Yeah, you'd love to see the rookie Donovan Ezeraku be able to take advantage of some of these guys.
How about some finish in the pocket? You talk about with Herbert, he'll move around, and then all of a sudden he tries forward, but they've given up pressure. There's middle pressure. There's edge pressure. He'll get sacked. But if you go in there and try and just kind of arm tackle him or not wrap up, he's going to run, and he's going to get out of the pocket, and he's going to go make a play. And it doesn't matter if he has a broken left hand. He'll take that thing and stiff-arm you with it. I've watched a bunch of tape with him, how tough he plays. So, yeah, it would be nice if, in fact, they're throwing the football today and Dallas has some semblance of a pass rush. We haven't seen that in really all year long, if you want to be honest.
No, not at all. And the Chargers like to kind of muddy it up, and they don't score a ton of points. They're scoring like 20 points a game this year.
Yeah.
They'll win games 16-13.
They'll kick field goals and play defense, play field position. Yeah, that's kind of how they play the games.
But the matchup with the Cowboys offense versus this Chargers defense will be interesting here, and you'd love to see the Cowboys offense find a rhythm, and especially on third downs, red zone. Last week on third downs, 2 of 12 versus the Vikings. That was a problem. And the Chargers defense, really, when you look at all the categories, they're right up there in the top 5 of most of them. And since the bye week, since week 13, they're number 2 in rushing success rate defensively. They've used a little bit more man coverage, especially on third downs. And the Chargers played man coverage on like 25% of their third downs before the bye week. That was towards the bottom of the league.
Yeah.
Now they've flipped it, and it's almost 50% man coverage since the bye week, and that's
they've gotten better
5 in the league.
They've gotten better. Their defense has gotten better as they've gone along.
Yeah, the Chargers rank 3rd in defensive expected points added per play when in man coverage since week 13. So that'll be something that the Cowboys are going to have to, and Dak Prescott and these wide receivers are going to have to, hey, on third downs, they're going to man you up. And I'm interested to see what their plan is for George Pickens as well, because the last two defenses, Detroit and Minnesota, have made a concerted effort to say, we're going to try and take Pickens completely out of this game.
Yeah, and they have that ability when you start to talk about with Derwin James and his ability. Let's be honest, teams that have doubled Pickens or played coverage his way, you've had guys like Lamb has gone off, Flanoy has gone off, but has it resulted in victories? It hasn't. So you have to make the determination of taking Pickens away in this game. Sure, let the other ones eat, but the other ones have got to make a pay. Drew Brees was telling you that. He's absolutely right.
Okay, under an hour and 20 minutes to kick off here at AT&T Stadium, Cowboys and Chargers. Let's get the scoop from the best in the business. Cowboys sideline reporter Christy Scales joins us next right here on The Fan.
Veritiv Pollock is more than just a supplier. We're your strategic ally in facility, packaging, and retail solutions.
birth control provider of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com. Tito's Handmade Vodka. Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's original craft vodka. And by DallasCowboys.com. Keep track of the boys with daily podcasts and up-to-the-minute blogging at DallasCowboys.com and on the official Dallas Cowboys app.
Here we go, an hour and 12 minutes to kick off here at AT&T Stadium for the home finale for the season, Cowboys and Chargers. Let's go ahead and get the scoop from Cowboys sideline reporter Christy Scales. Christy, happy game day. How are you?
Happy game day. I'm doing well. I think we're all doing better than Quinnen Williams, who will be inactive today. We know that he missed practice during the week, and of course he suffered the concussion in last week's loss to Minnesota. But the reason why Quinnen Williams won't be playing defensive tackle for the Cowboys today and is inactive is not the concussion, because he cleared protocol, but it's the sore neck. So Quinnen Williams will be inactive, and so that means we'll finally get to see Trayvon Winfrey, who had a good training camp and seemed to be really coming on, but had injury that landed him on IR early in the season. Just hadn't been able, even though he's been back and available, able to get on the field just because of the glut of defensive linemen. But look for number 99, easy for you to say, Trayvon Winfrey, to make his regular season debut today.
All right, very good.
Christy, Cowboys being eliminated from playoffs, I kind of felt like they got ready for this game thinking that they might still be in the hunt. Any other changes that they might be making that you might know about?
Well, really, there's one that I'll talk about in just a second, but mostly, Brian, it is more injury related. And let me hit defense before moving to offense, and that is that Kalen Carson missed practice time this week, right? Shoulder and a hamstring, and he was listed as limited during the week, and there was some thought that maybe he would play, but it was really mostly the resistance cords that he was on. And so Kalen Carson is inactive and won't play today. And then, of course, Deron Bland being placed on IR. You guys have been talking about that for the last couple hours. But here's what's going to happen at cornerback. Trayvon Diggs coming back and designated to return from injured reserve. So he and the rookie Savone Revel will play on the outside, and then Reddy Stewart will come in the nickel situations and play in the slot. And so the Cowboys went ahead and elevated from the practice squad Corey Ballantyne, who's a veteran free agent they added during the season. He has the position flex like Deron Bland, that he could move inside or play outside. So Ballantyne is going to be your backup to Stewart in the slot. So Triquez Bridges will back up on the outside. Of course, he was drafted by the Chargers and went all through training camp and offseason with them, and so knows about going against Justin Herbert, not only from practice, but they were both at Oregon together. So teammates there, but Triquez may get some playing time today as well. But just to finish out the inactives, so I mentioned Quinnen Williams and Kalen Carson. Coach's decision, Jay Toia, the rookie defensive tackle, inactive. That's, usual suspects, along with running back Jaden Blue. And, of course, Tyler Guyton at left tackle will be missing his fourth consecutive game. Nate Thomas has started the past 3 games at left tackle. He is dealing with a sore shoulder, and, yes, he was able to practice. But I'm going to be, let me just say with some changes, I'm going to be watching the offensive line and where people are lined up in this next part of pregame. Right now, it's just the specialists that are out there right now. Brandon Aubrey is kicking a 59-yard field goal right down the middle. But as soon as the teammates come out and we see them line up at offensive line, I'll report back after that. Is that enough of a tease?
Absolutely. Okay, so maybe some shuffling on the offensive line with Guyton still out and Nate Thomas a little bit banged up. Okay, that'll certainly be interesting with the Cowboys having a little bit of struggles trying to protect Dak, especially over the last couple of weeks. The Chargers won't make it any easier.
Yeah, not with their 40 sacks. Wow. That's tough. Khalil Mack and can't even say, it's so hard to pronounce the other guy's name who's having such a fine season for them. Tuli Pulotu. So
yeah, there you go.
Anyway, and you know that Brad Sham gets paid by the vowel, and he loves the Polynesian names. So whether Tuli makes the sack or not, I promise you he's going to get mentioned a lot today, okay? Because Brad Sham gets paid by the vowel. Hey, one other thing, change real quick. One thing we've been talking about the last month is the rotation at middle linebacker. Last week, Logan Wilson started at middle linebacker and Kenneth Murray subbed in. They're flip-flopping back. It's going to be Kenneth Murray starting at middle linebacker, and I think he may even get more snaps than normal. It's not going to be like a series-to-series rotation as we've seen over the last several weeks. So Murray may get more than the 58 to 60% of the snaps that he had been getting ever since they made the trade for Logan Wilson from the Bengals. So look for more of K9 today at the mic.
I love it. Okay, and what's the uniform combo today, Christy?
Oh, so the Cowboys are wearing the blue, dark blue jersey with the white pants, silver helmet, and then I love the powder blue of the Los Angeles Chargers. They have the powder blue pants with the lightning bolt down the, actually it's more the Charger blue, not the powder blue, but that kind of bright royal blue. And they've got the white jerseys and white helmets with the yellow lightning bolt. So it's a cool look. I kind of wish they were kicking it old school with the powder blue jerseys, but instead it's going to be the white jersey with the Charger blue, bright blue pants, and the white helmet.
Wonderful. Christy, you're the best. Thanks for the time. We'll catch up with you again next hour.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. There she goes, Cowboys sideline reporter Christy Scales. Today's game between the Los Angeles Chargers and the Dallas Cowboys at AT&T Stadium is brought to you by Tom Thumb and Albertsons, official supermarket and pharmacy of the Dallas Cowboys. And make sure, if you're making your way out to the game today, you try the Legends Hospitality game day favorite, the elote burger.
Yeah.
Broadus just crushed it.
Yeah.
Juicy, beefy patty topped with lettuce, tomato, pepper jack cheese, flamin' hot elote on a brioche bun. Absolutely 10 out of 10.
I'll tell you what.
Look at that thing. You punished it.
We've had a lot of great things that Legends has brought us this year.
Model of consistency.
That's the best thing they brought us.
That's your one seed?
That is number one seed right there. That is, and listen, I'm not going to lie. I haven't had anything to eat, but I had to have that thing right there. That's a 10 out of 10.
I love it. All right, we're just over 60 minutes to kick off, and it's a loaded final hour as always. We'll hear from Cowboys head coach Bryan Schottenheimer. We'll go into the owner's box with Jerry Jones, and, of course, more Super Bowl winning analysis from Bryan Broaddus next, right here on The Fan.
Cowboys fans, here's the game plan. Touchdown Tuesday at Take 5 Oil Change. Just wear your Cowboys gear and save 25% on your oil change.
is on the air.
Deep fade, left corner of the end zone, 1-for-1. Caught the ball. Touchdown. Touchdown, Cowboys.
With Brad Shab, Babe Loffenberg, Christy Scales, Eric Chiafalo, and Brian Broaddus. Brought to you by AT&T. Connecting changes everything. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. And by Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com. Also brought to you by Bell Nunnally, behind every great company. Jack Link's Beef Jerky, feed your wild side. Volleman's Dairy, the official milk of the Dallas Cowboys. Tyson Foods, get your Tyson Cowboys Star Nuggets available now. And by DallasCowboys.com. Keep track of the boys with daily podcasts and up-to-the-minute blogging at DallasCowboys.com and on the official Dallas Cowboys app. Now, here's Eric Chiafalo and Brian Broaddus.
It's a Week 16 playoff party, or pregame party, not playoff party. Son of a gun. Unfortunately, the playoffs are
for the Chargers.
For the Chargers, they're going to be having a playoff party, sitting at 10-4. Cowboys 6-7-1. The home finale here at AT&T Stadium. Great to have you in on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network. I'm Eric Chiafalo, alongside the Super Bowl champion Brian Broaddus. And yeah, the Chargers come into town 10-4, physical football team. They muddy it up. They find ways to win 16-13, whatever it is. I'm sure Justin Herbert, though, is licking his chops versus this Cowboys defense, who will not have Deron Bland, Kalen Carson, and Quinnen Williams today due to injury. Diggs, Revel, and Reddy Stewart will be your secondary. And we'll have to get into this offensive line situation as well, Broaddus, as we dive into the preview brought to you by SeatGeek and Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the Dallas Cowboys. How we doing, Broaddus?
We're doing well, thank you. It's unfortunate. You kind of know your fate. Now you know the next 3 games. Being a guy that was a part of a front office, you want to win these games. You want to go out there and try and win those games. You want to also be smart about how you play those games. The Cowboys finding out yesterday with Philadelphia victory. Philadelphia wins the NFC East, so now Dallas really playing for nothing. But, you want to go out there. You want to put your best foot forward. They're dealing with some injuries. Christy Scales is kind of taking us down this path that we might see some changes that we need to look for in the pregame, the warm-ups. Maybe there'll be some guys moving around, something like that, guys playing in different positions. So I need to keep an eye on that. Hopefully we'll get some updates of how things are looking for. And you mentioned the Chargers, their offensive line has been a mess, but they find ways to win football games. They're extremely tough. They play really good on defense. They do what they have to do special teams-wise to make things happen. So this is going to be a very, very difficult game from that aspect. We talked about it earlier. You find a way to win this one, it might be a signature victory for the season, because this is a really good football team.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably, if you win this game, it'll be the best team you beat all year, really.
Yeah.
If you break it down, which is unfortunate now that the playoffs are long gone for the second consecutive year, 4th time in the last 7 seasons. The Cowboys will not be in the postseason, but they're talking like they still want to go out there and put their best foot forward and do their best to win. You got Dak playing, and if your $60 million quarterback's going to be playing, then you need all the reinforcements you can get with guys helping to protect him, and this will be a big challenge today.
It will be a big challenge. The Chargers are very good in the front 7. Jesse Mentor, the coordinator, he's gonna rush 4. He'll bring a 5th one every once in a while. You mentioned that they're playing more man coverage now. If you look at some of the problems that the Cowboys have had the last couple of weeks, it has been with some pressures and things like that. And so this Cowboys offensive line, there might be some shuffling around. We'll see how that all plays out.
It makes me a little nervous, man, with this pass rush. And now you got, I mean, not that Nate Thomas has been playing great. We'll see how they shuffle it, because it's not like Adeniji stepped in and made you feel good either.
Right.
Like, protecting the blind side of Dak Prescott is of the utmost importance. And so, like, how they go about doing this will be interesting.
Oh, no, it will be. And, they might be in a situation where maybe what happened with Adeniji going into the game, was it against the Vikings? Was it when he had to come into the line?
Down.
When Thomas went down, Adeniji was not good.
Not good.
And
at all.
so now you're in a situation where, where's your best options, and maybe it's move guards to tackles, move guys off the bench into guard. There's a couple different ways they could play this. I just don't know if they necessarily want to put Adeniji out there again, and after what they saw last week.
No, I think that's a big risk. So, yeah, do you mess with a Tyler Smith going to play tackle or something like that? TJ Bass has done a nice job when he's had to fill in at guard, so that could work. You hate to break up the interior three where you have Tyler Smith, Cooper Beebe, and Tyler Booker all playing really, really good football.
Right.
But protecting the blind side of Dak Prescott's going to be of the utmost importance today with a pass rush that can really get after you. They got 3 or 4 guys that can pressure the quarterback at a high level.
Yeah, and you've got also you could bring Derwin James
with the blitzing
as
stuff.
A blitzer, yeah,
he's one of the best in the business. Yeah. And the Chargers' run defense.
Yeah.
Since their bye week, since week 13, now we sit here in week 16, but they've been suffocating offenses trying to run the football. So that's going to be a huge challenge today as well. Can you get George Pickens going after the last couple of weeks where defenses have really done a nice job trying to take him out of games? So there's going to be a lot on Dak's plate.
Yeah, a lot. And, the last couple of weeks, defenses have made changes. They've done a little bit better job of dealing with Pickens. We've seen him in the routes that he runs, the slants, the hitch. We haven't seen the vertical ball in a while, where George was able to make the plays where he was down the field, making a catch. Maybe it was a DPI. We haven't seen that. They need to get back to those big explosive plays.
All right, we're 53 minutes to kick off here at AT&T Stadium. Cowboys and Chargers. Let's get you the Coach's Corner. Voice of the Cowboys, Brad Sham, standing by with Cowboys head coach Bryan Schottenheimer. That's coming up next. You're listening to the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
Miller Lite, the legendary light beer. The originator, the inventor. If this beer could talk, it'd tell stories about that one time, that night, that one guy, that one gal, writing a story 50 years long and 50 million friends wide, because legendary stories start with a light. Here's to 50 years of Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
If you shout, how about them Cowboys?
Wisconsin.
46 minutes to kick off here at AT&T Stadium. We'll go into the owner's box here in just a few minutes, but right now it's time for today's Coach's Corner. Voice of the Cowboys, Brad Sham, standing by with Cowboys head coach Brian Schottenheimer.
Fellas, thank you. Last home game of the year for the Cowboys, which seems really weird. So I guess the first thing I'll ask Brian Schottenheimer is, does that seem even possible? Does it seem like we just came back from training camp?
The season does fly. There's no question about it. We've had a unique schedule, as you and I have talked about before on the show. And here we go again, last one here, and then another short week after this. But excited to be out here playing in front of our fans. I think we've played pretty well at home, and I hope that continues today.
Let me not get away the team you're playing, because they're really good. If you win this game, I think it might be your most impressive win of the year, just because of how good they are, what they have at stake, how well they're playing. Let's talk a little bit about their defense, and then I do want to hear your thoughts about Justin Herbert.
The defense, Jesse Minter, the coordinator, has done an incredible job since he's been there for the last 2 years. They're very, very simple on first and second down. They're big and physical in their front seven, Brad. Starts with guys like Khalil Mack and Tooley, and then you get Perryman and Henley at linebackers, and they're big and physical up front. And then you add a great talent like Derwin James, who plays the Buffalo nickel spot, which is basically three safeties, but he plays as the nickel. He's a huge man. I shared a story the other day about when I saw him his rookie season in Seattle. I was, of course, the coordinator there. And I was like, who's that defensive end in pre-practice? And it was not. It was Derwin. So that shows you the size and length that he has. But they're not giving up big plays. They're doing a great job of keeping the ball in front of them. But the thing that jumps out is how physical they are up front.
And Herbert, one of the best young quarterbacks, I think, who doesn't get as much attention as some of the other guys that he came in with. What are your thoughts about him?
If there's a guy that throws the football prettier or more accurately with the ball placement that he has, I'd love to see it. This guy is just a pure passer, man. It's one of those deals where if you told him, hey, I want the ball on my right nostril or my left pinky toe, I think he could do it from 30 or 40 yards away. He's that talented, but what we can't do is sleep on his athleticism. This guy, I think, has over 500 yards rushing. The ability to buy time and hurt you throwing and running is real.
All right, defense was the story around here most of the week. What's the evolution of Matt Eberflus's moving upstairs from his idea, your idea?
Yeah, collectively we talked about a lot of different things, and at the end of the day we've talked about we're all about winning. We're always going to be all about winning, and when we looked at it, the biggest reason that we decided to do it was I feel like we're not adjusting and solving problems fast enough on that side of the ball. And having done it up there myself for 1 year, it's clearly that you see it way better up there. And so, therefore, you put a guy like Flus that's got so much experience and is a hell of a football coach, you put him up there, and the thought and the belief is we'll be able to adjust and solve problems much quicker, which is what this game is really all about. The game comes down to making adjustments, and that gives you a chance to ultimately win the game in the fourth quarter.
And from that perspective, what's the difference between what you get from the visual perspective and give up from the lack of putting your hands on and looking guys in the eye when they come off the field?
Yeah, it's a balance, Brad. And again, when you're up, so when I was up in Seattle that 1 year, you move your strongest coaches down because you're up, they got to be down, and when you're down, they got to be up for your eyes. And I think the biggest thing, like I said, is again, we need to do a great job. For example, if we're not getting great pass rush with our 4 or 5 guys, you clearly see that when you're up in the box. And what's your answer? Well, we got to fire some more pressures and bring some different things that cause problems for the quarterbacks, try to make them uncomfortable. And or if you're getting hurt in the run game, or as the offensive coordinator, you can see, hey man, we're really running the ball well because you're seeing the flush of the line and the wave of movement that you're getting. So it's just a lot easier to see things up there in advance.
Okay, and then Thursday came the news that Deron Bland's foot injury has flared up again. He's done for the year. How does that impact what you will do going forward?
Yeah, again, I hate it for Deron. He's been through this before. He'll handle it like the pro that he is, and he'll be back better than new. And we're used to kind of having a little bit of a rotating door when it comes to the secondary, but we feel good about the guys that we have. And at the end of the day, it's going to be a big thing for us to be able to cover these guys because they've got weapons. Keenan Allen's a really good player. He's very physical. He knows how to get open. McConkey's an explosive, young, talented receiver. So it's not like Justin doesn't have a lot of weapons. We'll have to play well today in the secondary.
I guarantee I'll ask you this next week again, but as we wind toward the end, is there any part of you that wants to look at some young players who might have a future but haven't been on the field for whatever reason this year, whether they're on IR or on the roster, haven't been active?
Yeah, I would say the answer is totally 100% we do, if they've earned it. If they've earned it, absolutely no question about it. How do they earn it? Well, they earn it with the way they prep. They earn it with the way they go through workouts. They go through the way they practice. So we want to win. That's the main objective. It always will be. But at the end of the day, I'd love to see some of these young guys that don't have as much experience play, but they have to earn it.
Happy in between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and enjoy the last home game.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, fellas, back to you.
Thank you, Brad Sham. Today's Coach's Corner brought to you by Gillette, the official shave of the Dallas Cowboys. And Trayvon Diggs is back. He's one of those guys that apparently brought us. He has earned it. Yeah. He has earned his way back, doing things the right way. It's taken plenty of time here, but how excited are you to watch Diggs?
Well, I'm excited from the standpoint where initially several weeks ago I was like, Diggs needs to play. You need Diggs to go out there and give it his best. You need Diggs to go out there and show some pride and show that he's capable. And so I was trying from the personnel perspective of it, kind of will that thing to like, hey, let's go out and see what we got with this guy. Let's and then you started to hear the from the front office or whispers, whoever you talk to was saying, well, he's not practicing. And then the coaches, Shawnee came out and said, well, he's not practicing well enough. Jerry Jones, he's not doing what we need him to do. And so then you're like, well, if Diggs is going to be that way, then there's no sense of playing him. Then all of a sudden we get down to the final day before it's either put him back on the injured list or play him, that we hear, oh, well, we're going to activate him, and so he's practicing better and all that stuff. So I don't know what to believe. I don't know. He could have been practicing better all along. They just were like not interested in playing him because of the knee. Maybe he wasn't completely healthy. It's not the knee that's the problem, the one he had fixed. It's been the other knee that he's been dealing with. So this is one of those things. There's just a lot of mystery when it comes to. They say one thing, he says another. Somewhere in between, there's some truth. I kind of feel like both parties here have probably been wrong the way they've handled this.
All right, it's the home finale here at AT&T Stadium. Under 40 minutes to kick off Cowboys and Chargers. Let's go into the owner's box with Jerry Jones. That's coming up next. Dallas Cowboys football will continue in a moment.
Hey, Cowboy fans. Keith Davis here, former Cowboys safety.
welcome into the official pregame show of America's team. And it's time to go into the owner's box. Cowboys sideline reporter Christy Scales standing by with Jerry Jones.
All right, well, guys, we've been asking Jerry the past few weeks about Trayvon Diggs getting back on the field, and today is the day. So what are your expectations for number 7 out there?
Well, first of all, he did have a really good week of practice, and the coaches were really excited about his ability to perform out there in terms of anything physical. We know what a great player he can be. And so he'll add to what we're doing out here today, and he'll be in the right place at the right time.
Can you update us on Deron Bland moving forward? We know that with the foot injury that he's not going to play the rest of this season, but what's the prognosis into the offseason and moving forward?
Only the medical prep. We certainly expect him back for next season. No reason not to, and so that's what it is. The surgery should have him right where he thought he would be the first time.
Real test for your defense today against Justin Herbert and the Chargers game offense that really relies on the run game to set up their pass, and you're without Quinnen Williams along your defensive line. So we know Perrion Winfrey is going to make his regular season debut, but what do you see as the key for your front 7 against that run game?
The challenge is not to have Quinnen in there, and so but we've got, as we know, a good to outstanding rotation there in the middle, and so I think we'll bode well in there. But you're right, we got to stop them. They establish everything with their run. They're very physical. We'll have to be there to meet that.
These last 3 games, Coach Shadia says winning is the number one thing, and that was your opening words in the press conference, is winning is the name of the game. But is there also a chance to look at some of the young guys, and if so, who?
Well, you know, I think that it's so appropriate that we have a great game. We play each series, we play each down. Bill Parcells used to say, hey, there's not one thing for me, and that's the next football game. I don't care when, because I don't want it to go down as an L. I want it to go down as a W. That's the way we feel about these remaining games.
We appreciate it. Thanks so much, Jerry. That's the view from the owner's box. And as we continue counting down to Chargers and Cowboys, let's rejoin Eric and Bryan.
Thank you, Christy. Today's Owner's Box brought to you by Yeti, the official cooler of the Dallas Cowboys and the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. And now it is time for the Bryan Broaddus Zebra Report, brought to you by Arrow Exterminators, the official pest control provider of the Dallas Cowboys. Broaddus, what are we in store for?
Yeah, you got Alan Eck this week. Alan has officiated a game with the Chargers against the Colts earlier in the season. He has not officiated a game with the Dallas Cowboys involved. He's one of those guys that's kind of interesting. He's a little bit more critical penalty-wise to the visiting team than he is to the home team. So we'll see how that plays out in today's action. He's near the bottom when it comes to the number of penalties called with him and his crew. So maybe you'll get some opportunities to let both these teams kind of slug it out and see who can win. But you're going to have to look at offensive holding penalties. The defensive pass interference, and this is where it's been kind of a struggle for the visitors. The 15 defensive pass interference called this year by his crew, 11 of them has gone against the away team. So, hey, let's see George Pickens down the sidelines. Let's launch a couple of passes.
Yeah.
Max protect this thing if you have to, and find a way to get the ball out and see if you can make some plays down the field. Unnecessary roughness is the next biggest call. They've got 8 of these, so he's going to try and keep control of this game. He's not going to be interested in the chippy type of play that we've seen from some of these games. So he's going to try and keep control of that. Delay of the game is a big one for him. Tends to go more again on the away team than the home team. But keep an eye too on roughing the passer. That's something. There's 7 calls. He's officiated 13 games. Half of his games he's had a roughing the passer call. So got to stay away from quarterback's legs. Got to be careful about hands around the face, the head, that area. Those are the kinds of penalties that all of a sudden you're trying to get off the field, and then you get one of those roughing the passer penalties, and it just keeps that offense back on the field. So keep an eye on those penalties with Alan Eck and his crew today. It should be a game that hopefully if it holds to form, he's going to let these players decide it today.
Okay, so when it comes to George Pickens, is this a credit to how defenses are playing him over the last couple of weeks? Could the Cowboys be doing things offensively to create more opportunities for him? Like, you mentioned the go ball, like pushing the ball down the field. He's a guy that draws the DPI. We know how incredible he is at tracking the ball and staying in bounds, and him and Dak have been great this year, but we haven't seen it.
Yeah, I would like to be the guy that comes out here, Eric, and tells you, oh, well, hey, put him over here in trip formation. Oh, move him. Line him up in the backfield. Oh, do this, do that. He might not be comfortable playing that way.
Right.
It might be something where a CeeDee Lamb who understands how to play in trips, how to play in motion across, how to play in the slot. We say all these things. I give you ideas, but it might be that George Pickens just is not comfortable doing that. So the things that people have been taken away from him, we mentioned the slant, some of the crossing stuff. We've seen teams play with a robber in the middle of the field. I mean, a robber like a two-deep look with two guys on the hash, and then somebody in the middle taking away crossing routes. So George Pickens, that's kind of big for him. The slants, the crossing routes, the hitches, the vertical game. Teams are kind of finding a way to do that, whether it's keep a corner to the outside, don't let him up the sidelines, have a safety in the middle of the field, kind of take away the slant, or buzz that linebacker underneath. Defensive coordinators are clearly more concerned with George Pickens than they are with CeeDee Lamb and then also with Flanoy. I don't see CeeDee Lamb get as doubled as much as what you see from Pickens, and it might be because his willingness to move around and play in a lot of different spots.
Yeah, it's much more challenging to identify where Lamb's going to line up on any given play. I mean, part of his versatility, that's what makes him great.
Yeah.
Win from the slot, win from outside, go in motion, all those different things. And, like you mentioned, we don't know is how comfortable is George Pickens doing that. But it would be nice to see him get going once again here and build some confidence into the offseason after what has been, for the most part, a really dominant season from George Pickens.
Yeah.
It'll be a tall task today. This Chargers defense is playing lights out. The Chargers league best 6-1, by the way, in one-score games this year. So if the Cowboys can keep it close, the Chargers have kind of been there, done that. It is the home finale here at AT&T Stadium. Now under 30 minutes to kick off, and we welcome in Babe Laufenberg. Talk some Cowboys football, get you set for kick. Coming up next, you're listening to the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
Get in the game this holiday season with Dallas Cowboys Youth Football and Dance Camps, presented by Invisalign. Athletes ages 6 to 16 take the holiday hustle to football games.
blockchain.com/Cowboys.
Here we go, 20 minutes to kick off at AT&T Stadium, getting you set for Cowboys and Chargers. Let's go ahead and welcome in our guy, Babe Laufenberg, brought to you by the WinStar World Casino and Resort, the casino of the Dallas Cowboys. Please game responsibly. Babe Laufenberg, happy Sunday, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing great, and you know what? I know it's a meaningless game and all those things you want to say, but there's going to be 90,000 people in here, and if they get an entertaining football game and they get a Cowboys win, they're going to leave happy.
Yeah, I believe you're right about that. It'll be a tough challenge here. Jim Harbaugh's got these guys playing pretty good, old school, tough. They muddy it up, and Jim Harbaugh's one of the he's a little bit quirky, but man, is he consistent.
Isn't he, though? And you know what's funny? Coaches, we all hear it, right? Hey, new coach gets hired, we're going to be physical, we're going to run the football. And then the first game, they run it a couple times, and then they start throwing it all over the lot. And he's got a guy that can throw it all over the lot. But here's how Harbaugh backed it up, right? His first draft is Joe Alt. At the 5th pick in the draft is an offensive tackle. Unfortunately, he's hurt. He won't be with them today. But then this year, the first pick in the draft is a running back, Mario Hampton, right? Mm-hmm. He plays we're going to see 6 offensive linemen and a 295-pound fullback this afternoon.
Yeah.
That screams, yeah, we want to run the ball and we want to be physical.
No question about it. That's exactly what they want to do.
Yeah, Babe, are you worried about some of the things that today for the Cowboys and with Dak Prescott and how they might navigate some of their offensive linemen being, injured, banged up? Are you worried about? Is there concern for Dak today with that potential situation?
Yeah, you always worry about that, obviously, a little bit, and but they're going to try to get the running game going. The Chargers, as you guys have talked about, very good on defense. They come at you a number of ways. They're really not a big blitz team, unlike what they saw last week with Minnesota. They don't give up big plays, just like we saw with Minnesota. Minnesota is 1, and the Chargers are 2 in terms of not allowing 20-yard plus plays. They do like to clue into the quarterback, their corners, and everybody kind of got eyes on the quarterback. What I would like to see very quickly, early on, run a little slant and go, run a hitch, run a double move on the outside, and try to get by him. Again, they love looking at the quarterback and breaking on the ball. Take advantage of that. Go deep.
Babe, how impressed are you with Justin Herbert?
Extremely. I mean, we saw him 2 years ago on the practiced against the Cowboys training camp, and you just look at him and go, that's different. 6'6", 235. The ball just comes out of his hand like nobody's business. I mean, he throws it, and the ball is on the sideline to the comeback route 30 yards downfield like a half second later. Just explodes out of his hand.
Yeah, he's incredible, and the Cowboys defense will have their hands full with him today. Babe, we greatly appreciate it. Enjoy the game. We'll be listening.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir. There he goes, Babe Laufenberg. Now we head down to the sideline and welcome in Christy Scales for her keys to the game. Brought to you by Pollock Aurora, proud supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Christy, what do you know?
Well, with pass protection, as Babe was just saying, being a key, and Tyler Guyton missing his 4th straight game at left tackle with an ankle injury, and Nate Thomas is back up dealing with a sore shoulder. They were making some changes in the pregame warm-ups in terms of their Pro Bowl guard kicking out on a couple of pregame snaps there, so that'll be something that Brad and Babe will watch for with the first Dallas offensive series. As for the pass protection is so key today because this sticky secondary for the Chargers, they really thrive with the interceptions. They have 17 this year. They're really helped by that physical front 7, but it's eyes on the ball, it's stickiness, and what Brian Schottenheimer and Dak Prescott were talking about this week is the importance of those tight window throws, being accurate, because the Chargers defense has thrived with the takeaways because of that. As for the Dallas defense, Coach Schottenheimer wants them to flip the script in terms of time of possession. The Chargers offense is excellent on 3rd down conversions. They extend drives, they eat up the clock. They're 3rd overall in the league in 3rd down conversions and 2nd overall in time of possession. But what happens is they stall in the red zone. But they're 50% this year with their red zone conversions. We know that Dallas has struggled defensively in the red zone. We know they have struggled on 3rd downs. So the Cowboys' weakness on defense is where they really need to step up today because we know that Brian Schottenheimer wants to make sure that they flip the script on time of possession because they don't want to lose any possessions. They know that offensively they got to make them count and not stall themselves in the red zone, not settle for field goals. So that's the key offensively.
Yeah, Christy, in a short time we got with you, what about Diggs and the mystery of him? What do you expect from him today?
He's starting. He's starting on the outside along with Revel, the rookie. Reddy Stewart will play in the slot, and they elevated Corey Ballantyne, and he'll be the backup in the slot. But Diggs is going to get a lot of work today, and with Deron Bland missed in the rest of the season, see how Diggs comes through today. He'll get a lot, presumably, the last 2 weeks as well.
I love it, Christy. Thank you so much for the time. Enjoy the game. We'll be listening.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Brian.
Absolutely. There she goes, Cowboys sideline reporter Christy Scales and her keys to the game, Cowboys and Chargers. And this is the home finale, so hopefully they put on quite the show today. What do you think about Tyler Smith playing left tackle?
Well, I tell you what, though, it goes to show how beat up they are on the offensive line, and he's the best option. I think if Adeniji would have played well last week, we might have seen a different story of him starting out there. But the fact that he didn't, he gave up pressures. It affected the game when he was in there. I think this is a smart move.
Yeah, I mean, protecting Dak is hugely important. And if you're going to run him out there, you got to have somebody that you're confident in. We haven't seen Tyler Smith play left tackle this year, but we know he's done it before.
There's going to be a challenge with these two edges with the Chargers today. This will be he's going to have to be good right off the jump.
Yeah, and do they move those guys around? Will he see a bunch of those guys?
They will. Yeah, they're going to flip flop this thing. They're going to look for the matchups, and if he's struggling early in this game, watch out. They'll find a way to keep after him.
Okay, so Tyler Smith at left tackle, T.J. Bass likely at left guard there, and then BB at center, Booker right guard, and Terrence Steele at right tackle. We'll see if the Cowboys can run the football. This Chargers defense has been flying around. Big-time plays. Can George Pickens get going? CeeDee Lamb stay consistent here, and we'll see if the Cowboys can go ahead and put up some points. I'm going Chargers 30. Again, no Quinnen Williams.
Yeah.
That's huge for the Cowboys defense. Chargers 30, Cowboys 27.
That would be Chargers 28, Cowboys 23.
Okay, there it is. The final predictions here for Cowboys and Chargers. The home finale here at AT&T Stadium. Kickoff is around the corner with Brad, Babe, and Christy. Dallas Cowboys football will continue in a moment.
Football is a team sport. Every inch of gridiron gain from the